Alright guys, welcome back to another video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. You know, I really appreciate you guys subscribing and commenting, and it really helps. I love answering back to you guys. You know, like I told you before, I don't really do this. I mean, not really. I don't do this to make money. I don't make money off this. I do it for fun and a hobby. I love reloading. And if I can help any new reloaders to not make mistakes, or, you know, you're going to make some, but if I can save some new reloaders, you know, from making mistakes, or get some new people into reloading, you know, I'm happy as hell. And that's really why I do this. It's a hobby of mine, and I like throwing it up on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys, you know, liking, subscribing, all the stuff, you know. I should say, but I don't really say it a lot because, you know, whatever. I would appreciate it if you guys do it, but it's not the end of the world. So either way, this is going to be starting the 308. I have been promising you guys 308 for a long time. I know. I'm sorry, but we are doing it right. And that's kind of one reason why I didn't start 308 to begin with, because that AR-10 I got, it's not that accurate. I mean, it's a 1 MOA gun, 1.5, you know, 1.5, 1, somewhere around there. And it's a good rifle, but it's not really, you know. I'm not really a huge AR guy anyways, unless it's a, like, match grade AR. So, we're starting 308. As you guys see, you guys saw the build. It's a freaking stellar rifle. You know, it's going to do 308 justice. And so, I figured I got a kick-ass rifle. Should be accurate as hell. Doing 308 right, I can't do cheap-ass brass. So, because I have a lot of 308 brass. You know, a lot of Lake City, you know, a lot of federal brass. I got a lot of 308 brass. Once fired. I got a ton of range pickup, and I got a lot of gold medal match brass. You know, it's still federal and it's still match, but it's still not, you know. So either way, to do 308 justice, you got to have badass brass. So I went with, can you guys see? Yeah. Alpha Munitions OCD large rifle primer brass. I went with large rifle primer because I have a lot more. I still have a lot of small rifle primers, but I have a lot more large rifle primer than small. Not only that, you know, they say small rifle like helps with your SDs, I guess, but I've done a lot of research on that, and it's not. You know, it's a hit or miss. Like Johnny's Reloading Bench did a series on that and researched it, and he found out that, you know, it was just hit or miss. Sometimes it helped with SDs, sometimes it didn't. Large rifle primer did just as good, you know, most of the time. So that's why I went with. I mean, the major reason why I went with it, because like I said, I have more large rifle primers, but you know, I still have a lot of small rifle primers, so if you know, if it really did help with SDs a lot better, then I would have went with that. But I've done quite a bit of research myself on it, and yeah, it's hit or miss. It can help with SDs using small rifle primer brass, but I don't know. I don't think it's enough to even matter, and if it, you know, even does it at all. That's why I went with large rifle primer brass, and the reason why I went with alpha is because, well, I mean, just go watch that Ultimate Reloader video. Now, it was a little reckless what they did, but it really proved alpha munitions. So, Ultimate Reloader and the, what's his name? The owner of Bat Machines, they took Alpha Munitions OCD 308 Winchester brass, and took a 308 rifle and ran it up to 300 Win Mag pressures, and I think they reached all the way up to, I think it was like 108 or 120 PSI, which is insane. Extremely dangerous, but you know, they're capable reloaders and they know, you know, Alpha Munitions gave them the reamer. It spec'd exactly to that brass, so and they were using a, you know, bat machine, so a premium action. So you're not gonna, it's a very hard time blowing something like that up. And they ran that brass, that Alpha Munitions brass, all the way up to that, and not a single primer pocket got loose. You know, either way, go check it out. It's really took Alpha Munitions, in my eyes, up to another level. Now, I was on the fence about it. If I would have went with Lapua, it would have been cheaper. 100 pieces of Lapua brass was $108, and 100 pieces of Alpha Munitions was $113 or $118, something like that. So, in my eyes, Alpha Munitions is better than Lapua. And if not better, I think it is, but if not better, it is just as good. So that was my rationale on getting Alpha Munitions over Lapua, and yeah, figured get the best brass I can for a, you know, kick-ass rifle. Now for the load, actually haven't figured out the load completely, but for components, we're going to be doing same thing as the 22 Creedmoor, and got to try and get 200 rounds down that barrel before we really start load development. Because of that, I went and picked up a couple boxes of factory second bullets from Midway. I figured, you know, no sense in wasting a bunch of good match bullets, you know, without doing load development. So I picked up some factory second match 30 caliber 155 grain hollow points. Now these match bullets have a cantilever, so I'm not really sure what brand they are. They kind of look like Hornady's boat tail hollow point match. Let's see here, can you guys? So yeah, it kind of looks like Hornady's, but it's not, because Hornady's brass don't have the cantilever. Now they may sell a version of the boat tail hollow point match with a cantilever. I don't know, but yeah. Either way, I the ones I have from Hornady, they don't have the cantilever on it, so it might be a Sierra Match King or maybe a Spear. Actually, Spear sells match bullets too, and a lot of their bullets have cantilevers. So, and nothing wrong with that. So I figured that'd be the best way to not waste a bunch of components, expensive components, without being able to do load development. Because, like I said before, you're not really supposed to do load development until about 200 rounds. And I'll probably start, same with the 22 Creedmoor, around like 150. But I thought that was a good idea. So, those are the bullets you'll be seeing for a while for the 308. Is these factory seconds. Now, I'm probably not going to show, like the 22 Creedmoor, all 200 rounds down the barrel. I'll probably do a lot of it without filming, just because, like, you guys don't want to see the same bullet, same powder, you know, with different charges. I am going to be doing different charges, like the 22 Creedmoor. I've been doing different powder charges all the way up through, but, you know, I'm really not. I'm writing it down in a separate book. It's not my main load development book, because that way if it changes, you know, once 200 round goes, you know, comes through, then I can just write it in my main book. If it stays the same, if the barrel doesn't speed up, then I can just copy it over to my main book, all the load data I already have, you know, written down. So those are the bullets. That's the brass. For powder, we're going to be using CFE 223. Just because I have a bunch of it. I figured use the powder I have the most of. And CFE 223 works pretty good for 308. It's not the best for SDs and ESs, but you can get pretty good SDs and ESs with CFE 223 and 308. It's a good combination. Not the best, but good. I would say IMR 4064 is probably the best for 308, and a close second is Barget. A lot of people would say maybe the opposite, Barget and then IMR 4064, but I've had more luck with 4064 than Barget. So that's the powder, that's the brass, that's the bullets. For the load, we are going to do, let's see here, we're going to start at 43 grains. Like I said, CFE 223. I'm not sure how many I want to fire during this session. So we are shooting from 43 grains to 45.7 grains. We're going in 0.3 increments, and the max load, we're going by Hornaday's manual. Their minimum load, they start off at 42.4, so we're starting off at 43, so pretty much just a little bit above starting load. And their max load for a 155 grain with CFE 223 is 48.2. That's one before the red mark, because Hornaday has the highest load shown is in the red is 49.6. So the one before that is 48.2. So maxed out is 49.6 on that. So we are going to 45.7. So that's looking like, yeah, it's looking like they have it around 2600. 46.7 for them is at 2600. I'm at 45.7, so 45.3 is 2500. They put. So I'm in between loads on them. They go from 45.3 to 46.7. So I'm in between that load, but that's going to be the loads. So that's what we're working with. I just went through all the measurements of this brass. It is insane. It is ridiculous. It's freaking beautiful. Ridiculous and beautiful. You guys are not going to be able to see the just perfectness, shininess. Necks are almost all the same, within half a thousandths. The web on them was 0.4675. Necks was 0.332. Shoulders was 0.449. Headspace is sitting at 1.620. Now this is all unfired brass. This is just new brass. I take all dimensions of new brass, once fired, 2 times fired, and then I take the sized dimension as well after I size it. So those are going to be the loads, and yeah, we'll bring you back on, I'll probably take you through the full setup. Alright guys, so I did change up the loads a little bit. I'm not going to do 50, I'm going to do 25 and then 25. Just because shooting 50 out on the range, you know, it's going to take quite a while. And as is, you know, with 25 rounds, I got it down to about half hour. So if I add another 25, each freaking shooting session is going to be back up to an hour long. And I know some of you guys don't mind a long video, but a lot of you others can, you know, have a hard time watching even 20 minutes. So that's part of what I'll do is we will shoot 50 pieces of the brass, but we'll do it in 25 and 25. So the loads are going to be pretty much the same as last time. starting, and it's just the ending load is going to be different because we're only doing 25 instead of 50. So we're obviously going to do 5-shot groups because we're just trying to get 200 rounds as quick as we can down the barrel. So starting charge is still 43.0. We're going up in 3/10 0.3. So the next one's 43.3, 43.6, 43.9, and the way I'm going to do it now is I'm going to have 5 foulers, and that will make 25 shots. And I made the last one, the last 5 foulers, I just did the starting charge of 43.0. And that will also make it so I got 5 shots on the gun. I can get my hold better. You know, I really don't got to worry about heating up the barrel. You know, that barrel's massive. It's bigger than my bench rest gun, and my bench rest gun, the barrel on my bench rest gun doesn't heat up frickin' at all anyways. A couple times last summer, like 90, 95 degree day, it still took 6 or 7 shots before it started getting warm. But those were the only days that, it really had to stop shooting. So yeah. We'll do 5 foulers at 43, which is our starting charge, and we'll go with that. And then we'll cycle the brass. So this will be fire formed. The next time going out, we'll fire form the next 25 pieces, and then we'll still have 50 pieces for later on of nice alpha, OCD brass. But we'll cycle through 50 pieces, 25 and 25, until we get 200 rounds down. I got another box of these coming. Actually, I couldn't find these. I did find these, but I couldn't find 155 grain. I found 177 grain, or 175 grain. So I got another set of factory seconds coming, but they're 175 grain instead of 155 grain. They're still factory second match bullets though, so whatever. And that will, once we shoot this box and the one coming, that will be perfect. Some cheap rounds going down the barrel, and don't gotta waste premium components. And I also, with that order, I ordered 100 pieces of 208 grain ELDMs. So that, can't wait for that to come. And once we have 200 rounds down the barrel, we'll be working up loads of the match bullets I got already, and the ones coming, the LDMs 208, which I'm excited about the 208 because nice and heavy. Hopefully I think the nice long heavy bullets should shoot really good out of this barrel. So that's what we're going to go with. We'll do 25 pieces, and then we'll cycle through the next time, do another 25 pieces, and then we'll move to the once fired ones and go from there. The only other way I was thinking about doing it is, because with 5 foulers it kind of sucks because that only leaves actual, it only leaves 5 actual loads, because 5, 10, 15, 20, and then 5 of them are just foulers, which I usually do just the starting charge. So we're really only doing 4 loads. It's really the only way I can think about doing it without staying out on the range and doing an hour-long, shooting session every time. But oh well, we'll do it like this. It should work. So 5, 10, 15, 20. We need 5 more. Like I said, I think the 5 foulers will be better. just because, like the Creedmoor, it's taking me a little bit to get used to that gun and the chassis and the trigger and all of that. Not only that, I haven't really shot much all winter. Only shot a few times throughout the winter, so I got to get on my game again. Period, for shooting. So yeah, I think $5 will set me up for the groups, for the rest of the groups we shoot. Instead of just doing one fowler like I normally do, one or two, one shot really doesn't give me enough trigger time, and then I usually just go right into the group. So that will work. Alright, so next step. This brass, like I said, it's brand new. We got a fire format, so I don't. That's one thing we're going to be doing a little bit different this time. Is my 30 cal mandrel is coming in. I didn't have a 30 cal mandrel. The only ones I have is 6.5 and 22 cal. I don't have a 30 cal mandrel, so I have to wait for that to come, because like I told you guys before, with brand new brass, the only thing I really do is run a mandrel through it and chamfer and deburr it, and that's it. That's all I ever really do to brand new brass. But to be all honest, I'm just fire forming, so I don't really need to. This brass is so consistent, I don't really need to, run a mandrel through it. And our next time firing, once it's 1 times fired, once we get to 2 times, I'll have the mandrel in. It'll be here within a few more days, so that way I can start my normal reloading process. But that's the only thing different. This brass is really good, so I don't really need to run a mandrel through it. If I had the mandrel, I probably would, but actually I don't know. I don't think I would. This brass is awesome. It's really good. The necks are so consistent, and yeah, so we're good to go. Alright, so first step, I will probably hit it with a quick chamfer. So let's do that real quick. So what you're going to want to do is chamfer and deburr the mouth of the case, and you don't want to do it long. You literally just put it on. That's it. Couple quick. Put it on the chamfer, put it on the deburr, and you're good to go. That's the only thing that new brass really doesn't come to you, like even Lapua brass. It don't come chamfered and deburred. Even this Alpha isn't. But one thing you do get with premium brass like this is extreme consistency. Like primer pockets, the necks, the neck wall thickness, all of that. You just get so much better consistency. You don't want to put it on long, because if you sit there and run it on the chamfer and deburr, it will literally cut. It will chamfer it to a point, and it will make it sharp, and you'll end up shaving. When you seat a bullet, you'll risk shaving copper. So that's why you don't want to just sit there and hold it on the chamfer and deburr mandrel. Alright, last couple cases. Couple seconds on each is just fine. That way you don't get them nice and sharp. You don't need the case mouth razor sharp. Alright, so everything's all chamfered and deburred. And now, let's get some primers in these things. New brass, that's quick and easy to reload because don't got to clean the primer pockets. They're nice and clean already. Don't have to do really anything else. Now, for any new reloaders watching, the cheaper the brass you buy, you know, the more you have to do even right from the get-go. Like I bought some Winchester brass like a long time ago, and that stuff had to be full length resized right off the bat because there was dented necks, so I had to run it up through the full length resize die. So yeah, the cheaper the brass, the more you have to do prep even right from the get-go. But once you get it all prepped, even bad brass, you know, once you get it prepped really well, it stays pretty good for, you know, for the life of the brass. It might not last as long as premium brass, but you'll get some decent life out of it. You just gotta work a lot more to keep it good. That's it. Alright, let's get some primers in these things. Alright, so we're going to be priming with my RCBS priming hand primer. I have some CCI 250s Magnum primers. We're going to do some Magnum primers. 308 isn't, you know, Magnum primers aren't really necessary for 308, but it's not like Creedmoor where I've never had any hang fires with 308, but it's similar case to Creedmoor, so I'm surprised people don't run into it, because that's one thing you can run into with the Creedmoor, and like you guys saw not long ago with the 22 Creedmoor, last couple videos, I got several hang fires there. So with the Creedmoor, I don't know about 25 Creedmoor, 6mm Creedmoor, but I know 6.5 and 22 Creedmoor, if you run the certain, and I think it usually happens with ball powders, you run the certain powder, you'll get massive hang fires. And one way to solve that is with Magnum primers. But yeah, I'm going to use Magnum primers on this 308. That way it just burns consistently, you know, ignites all the powder nice and consistent. And my charge weight's quite a ways down, so I don't got to worry about, you know, overpressure or anything. Alright, so for this, primer got all squirrely on me. So the only thing is, you don't want to hold this towards your face, because if it does happen to explode the primer, or if you set off the primer, then it's going to go right up that piece of brass, and you know, the sparks and flames will come right out of the top of the brass. So yeah, gonna have to do it like this. Alright, so as long as it's below flush, you're good to go. So this is a universal priming hand primer, universal hand primer, and it's really nice because you don't need any shell holders. It just snaps in like that. I think it will hold anything from like 17 caliber all the way up to like I can't remember, like, I don't know if it's 45 or 338, can't remember, but it's quite big. So far I do like this hand priming tool. Like I've said to you guys before, I'm mostly a prime on the press kind of guy, but lately I have been testing out this hand primer, and I like it. I'll probably still switch up back to the press, just because I like the feel of priming on the press, but this is handy doing it this way. Alright, as long as the primer's just below flush, you're good to go. Alright guys, I'm going to get the rest of these primed and bring you back. Put some powder and bullets. Alright, let's get some powder in these damn cases. I'm going to do a quick powder calibration. I got the hopper full of CFE 223. So let's do a quick. I already calibrated the scale, but let's calibrate the powder. Yeah. Alright, so first charge. We'll do 5 foulers and 5 for the first charge. Oh, by the way, I'm just seating these all at mag length, 2.800. That's standard mag length for 308. Cartridge overall length. I figured just keep it like that. We're not doing load development, so I don't need to be 20 thousandths off. And right now I have no fire form brass, so I can't really see where this bullet hits the lands anyways, because I don't have a modified case yet. So we're just doing standard 2.800, and we'll probably do that for probably most of the 200 rounds, to be honest. Alright, so first charge is 43.0. 43.0. I'll probably get the balance beam as well. That way I can double check and make sure. This has been right on so far. But the Frankfurt IntelliDropper, that actually has been dropping. I've tested, I would probably say 90% of all loads coming off the IntelliDropper, and it's been right on pretty much every single one. Let me zero out my balance beams. Alright, so let's get the balance beam set for 43. It's 10, 20, 30, 40. 1, 2, 3.0. Alright, let's get the first 10 dropped. Perfect. See how good it actually did. Perfect. Let's check out case fill. See how much is actually filling the case. We are not that high up. We are probably right above my thumbnail. So little bit below, or quite a bit below the shoulder, which I like to be, if you possibly can, right up to the shoulder if you can. Perfect. I'll show you guys a couple more of these real quick. Perfect. Alright, last one, and I'll bring you back for seating some bullets. Perfect. Alright, dump it in. Set your pan back on. Dump this one in the balance beam. Put it back on the scale. Hit dispense. Remove your funnel. Alright guys, I'll bring you back for bullets. Alright guys, let's get some bullets in these bad boys. I got them all topped off with a bullet. I triple checked, make sure powder was in each case, and then I top it off with a bullet. Alright, so using Hornady cedar die, the way you do that is take an empty case, put it in the shell holder, run it all the way up, spin the die in until it touches. Okay, once it comes to a hard stop, that means you're on the mouth of the case, piece of brass. And if you don't want to crimp and seat at the same time, then back the die off one full turn. So that is one full turn. And I'm going to do a little bit more just so I can get the micrometer top facing me. And then screw your die, or screw your locking ring down and tighten it up. And that's how you seat bullets without a crimp. If you want to crimp, then you run it down to the top of the case mouth, the mouth of the piece of brass, and then lower your brass and turn incrementally, like 1/8 of a turn at a time, until you get your desired crimp. And also you gotta dial in your seating depth at the same time. But I recommend, for especially any new reloaders watching, I recommend just, if you really want to crimp, for precision rifle you don't really need to crimp. Hunting I kind of do, or ARs. If I reload for ARs I crimp a little bit, and my hunting rounds I crimp a little bit as well. But other than that, I don't crimp anything else. But if you want to crimp, I recommend getting a Lee factory crimping die, and just do it in a separate stage. Crimping and seating in one kind of, to me, don't sound very fun. Alright, to start seating, you want to back your seating stem all the way out, or quite a ways out. And then run your bullet up in. Then twist the micrometer or your seating stem down until it hits the top of your bullet. And then go in like a half a turn and see where that gets you. Now, I'm going to go more than a half turn because I need a lot more than that. This has a cantilever, so, and I did notice that 2.8 is pretty much right at the cantilever. So, alright, zero out my micrometer, or my calipers, not micrometer. Alright, can you guys see that? Okay. Alright, zero these out. Then take a measurement of your round. 2.945. And I want 2.8. So that's 145 thousandths. So let's see here. One full revolution I think is 50. Let's see what one full turn is. I was at 109, what was it, 195? I can't remember now. I was at 2.945, I think. So I'm at 2.897. So we are at 2.897. And I want to be at 2.800, so we need to come off. So yeah, that took one full revolution, was 50 thousandths. I know that's how it is on the other Hornady micrometer top. So yeah, 50 thousandths for one full revolution. So I need to take off 97 thousandths. So there is 50, and then 60. 70, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll do 95 just in case. Just in case it's a little off. I'll tell you, these micrometer tops have been right on. Both the new Hornady micrometer top and this is the old style Hornady micrometer top, and both have been right on. So yeah, there we go, 2.803, and I went to 95, so I was 2 thousandths away from actually getting to my, and so yeah, 93, so let's go let's go 2 more thousandths. Actually, I was 3 thousandths, so it ended up being about 1 thousandths off in the end, which is just fine. So yeah, 803, 2.803, so I got to take 3 thousandths off to get to 2.800. Bam. Dialed 3 thousandths on the micrometer, took off 3 thousandths on the bullet. So yeah, it works pretty good. Alright, let's do one more. And as long as these ogives on these factory seconds are all the same, then they'll all measure the same. 2.800. Come on now, get in there. And as you guys can see, I don't know if you actually can see it or not, but it's almost perfectly halfway in the cantilever, so that's exactly what you want. Oh, that one's a tenth off. 2.799, or around a thousandth off. Alright, I'll show you guys one more, and then I'm going to blast through the rest of these. Come on now, get in there. 2.798, so that's about 2 thousandths off. And one more. Here, let's back off just 1 thousandths, because we may have a variation a little bit in these factory seconds on the cantilever. Like I said, I've had very good luck. Oh yeah, no. We're at 803 again, so backed off too much. So let me go back to where I was. 2 thousandths. And 2.799. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Alright guys, I am going to haul ass through the rest of these. And I'm freaking excited to get to the range and shoot these. Shoot the new gun. Yeah, I'm freaking excited. Alright guys, I will see you out on the range.